Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. In boxing, there's often a lot of comment and criticism about how the hometown fighter gets the edge on the scorecard, especially when it's close. Call it what you want, hometown cooking or the hometown crowd effect. It's not ideal, but it does happen. I think a recent example and quite a controversial one that we can point to is the Jeff Horn Manny Pacquiao fight. One judge scored the fight 6 rounds to the good for Horn, where based on the eye test, or at least my eye test and a number of the people who voiced their outrage, they saw it a lot closer, and many had Pacquiao winning. I think he did enough to win. Another example is the Deontay Wilder versus Artis Spilka heavyweight fight last year. Clearly, in the eyes of most fans, Spilka, he was winning that fight before he got brutally knocked out. But the judges, and this is what was really interesting, they saw it quite differently, having Wilder up, and in one instance, quite comfortably. So that brings me to the Joseph Parker fight with Hughie Fury in September. That fight is in Hughie's hometown of Manchester in England. It certainly wasn't for lack of trying to hold the fight in Auckland, New Zealand. It was originally, as we know, set down for the 1st of April. Then it was pushed back to the 6th of May because Fury couldn't be bothered signing the contract fast enough. Team Fury was then due to be in Auckland a month out from the fight. But then, as we know, and it was quite sad that this happened, Fury pulled out with a back injury 2 weeks before the fight was to occur. Ironically, that came 2 days after he said in a column he was feeling the best he'd ever felt. He felt great. Then all of a sudden, he pulls out. A very suspicious injury in my view. It was clear he didn't want that work in Auckland. It was even intimated by Team Fury that should the fight be close, the hometown advantage would work against them. So they got their way. Parker's promoters negotiated with Fury's promoters, and they are holding it in Manchester. So with that fight now being a hometown one for Fury, I, like many people who've commented in some of my recent videos, believe that if the fight is close, then Parker will potentially be robbed. It's actually quite funny that at a subconscious level, we're already thinking like that many of us have that little trust in the judges. It really is a bit sad, actually, and it does say something about the state of judging and boxing more generally. While I'm sure that Parker's promoter, David Higgins, has had some measure of control in organising the upcoming bout, which will no doubt extend to the judge selection, I just can't shake the thought that should it be close, it will go Fury's way. One commenter in a previous video made a very good point. The emotion level for this fight will be amplified even more than it normally would, with Fury vowing to dedicate his performance to the recent victims of the Manchester terror attack. I mean, that's going to be some heartstring stuff. So with that in mind, and the general roar of the crowd for anything good that Fury does, it really is going to be tough for JP. Do you actually think he can get a fair suck of the salve from the judges? I'm not so sure. I guess we'll have to see. But that leads me to, so what can he do? Well, it's clear he's going to have to go for a knockout. He's actually even spoke about going for the knockout. It's certainly one way to take it out of the hands of the judges. Whether he can get it done is another question. Fury is a big, elusive guy, but we don't really know how good his chin is. Another thing to consider is just because you say you're going to go for a knockout doesn't mean that the opportunity will bring itself out in the fight. We saw that versus Razvan Kajanu in May, which was Parker's step-in opponent. Parker went headhunting, but couldn't get the job done. He was solely focused on knocking Kajanu out. So sometimes you don't get the opportunity and you can't get them out of there. So if it goes to the cards, well, you have to take your chances. We know that he needs a knockout performance, especially a brutal one. That's going to help his profile and put him in line for some big fights, be that staying on in England against the likes of Dillian White or Tony Bellew, or against Deontay Wilder in a unification fight. So looking at the situation, it might be a case, it has to be knockout or bust. But it's never that easy. Keen to hear your thoughts. That's it from me. Hit like and subscribe. I'm out.